Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about, is war a necessary evil? Never think that war, no matter how necessary nor how justified, is not a crime. And yes, I agree with this quote because, as for me, a war is something disastrous, something very evil and horrendous, because it brings only grief, deaths, and destruction. So I am the victim of the war, and I have never thought that in modern world I will experience and see the war by my own eyes, with my own eyes. And exactly 1 year ago, when I woke up, I heard the news that my country was invaded by Russian troops, and the president of Russia has announced the war against my country, the country I was born and lived my whole life. And of course, when I first heard about this, I was very shocked, and I didn't know how to react and what to do next with my life. And of course, everyone else was panicked, and no one knew what to do, really. So we just monitored the news 24/7, and we thought about the ways to move to another country to escape the war, because we knew that once the war escalated, and we knew what the consequences would be. So we tried to find the way how to return back to Vietnam. So we contacted our relatives to say that we are fine and that nothing has happened to us. But to be honest, when we first heard the noises of the rockets and the bombs, the sounds of the bombs and the missiles, we have to go to the tunnels, to the underground places to hide. And I thought that maybe that would be the last day of our lives, because that experience was really horrendous. And I was shocked that even in this modern world we can't resolve the conflict peacefully, but we have to use war as the last how to say it, like, we can't resolve the conflict peacefully, so we have to refer to war. And I know that war has brought a lot of pain to everyone, to all the 40 million of people in Ukraine. And it's like the whole younger generation is being wiped out right now, because youngsters of 20 years old are going to the battlefield, and hundreds and thousands of young boys are being killed from both sides, both Ukrainians and Russians. And it's like the whole younger generation will be wiped out in the next few years, and they died young, so they won't have any children or anything left. And to see my friends with which I went to school with go to the battlefield and fight, it really makes me very emotional because I know that maybe one day I will hear the news that one of my friends is dead or something, and I really don't want to think about it. But as it's been 1 year of the war, I will have to prepare myself to the worst scenario. Yes, so, and I know a lot of my friends are also now suffering depression and PTSD is like a post-traumatic syndrome after they experienced the war and the effects and the consequences of the war. A lot of my friends are now suffering from depression and mental health because they have seen things that other people don't want to see, won't ever want to see in their life. So my own opinion on war is that it's not a necessary evil, because some may say that war is a necessary evil because if we don't fight, we won't live peacefully. We won't get anything. But I think that war is just right now is like a political game, and politicians are playing, and the citizens are just the pawns to for the politicians to achieve their goals, because the politicians, they don't fight, they don't need to fight, they just sit there at home and control everything and just give orders to the soldiers. But the ones who really suffers from this are the ordinary citizens that have to give their lives for their country. If war is a necessary evil, if one country invade the other, so what the other should do, what the other country that was being invaded have to do? They have to fight back, of course. But if they don't fight back, they will lose their country, and I really don't know whether the war in Ukraine will finish and how many deaths will it bring. But for me, I really hope that the war would finish as soon as possible, because as we all know that there was a war in Vietnam also, and how many deaths it has led to. About 3 million people has died in the Vietnam War, and if we have to count the deaths of the people in this Ukraine vs Russia war, it would be a lot more than 3 million as for now. So all I want is for the war to finish as soon as possible, not for me to return to my country, but for me to find peace inside, and all my friends and relatives could have a normal, peaceful life. So that's that. Thanks for listening.